Tua Tagovailoa, the 5th overall pick in the 2020 draft to the Miami Dolphins. Kind of a surprise because the Dolphins did a good job of keeping quiet about their intentions. Nick Saban, Tagovailoa's head coach at Alabama, was not quiet about his praise of Tua. He basically said, hey, look, if you don't take Tua, you're making a mistake on the level that I made in 2006 when I said no thank you to Drew Brees. So the Dolphins, who were the team that Saban was working for when they said no thank you to Drew Brees, heeded that warning. And now that he's drafted, Nick Saban is singing a slightly different tune. Here are quotes to the Miami Herald earlier this week. The number one thing we've tried to convince Tua of is he's got to learn self-preservation as part of the job. Tua is a great competitor. You don't want to take his competitive spirit away. He's always trying to make a play, even when the play breaks down, and that's good. He does it well. He makes a ton of plays in those circumstances, but I still think there are times when there's just nothing there. Several times when he's got hurt here, I felt like there's no reason for him to even get hit. Now, look, that cuts against the praise that Saban gave to Tua, and I don't know how much of that can be taken out of who a guy is. You know, Sims has said that when he looked at Tua's film, there were so many times where Tua got hit in an awkward way that made Sims think he's not getting up. And he managed to get up, but you get hit in awkward ways like that on a regular basis at the NFL level, you ain't getting up. So, a big part of being an effective quarterback in the NFL is being able to show up and play. And I don't care how good Tua is when he plays. If he plays in a way that jeopardizes his ability to play, that to me is a red flag. That's exactly why there was talk of him sliding out of the top 10, Big Cat.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. By the way, the Nick Saban picture there, that's from like 25 years ago. Love that. Love that. Make sure that you always use the youngest picture. But I know exactly what you're saying, Mike. But don't you think that there's an element that once Tua gets to the NFL and everything's faster, stronger, bigger, it's going to be a little more self-preservation. Remember, he's playing at Alabama that was so much better than almost everyone they played for Tua's entire stretch as his college career, that going out there and saying, I am Superman, I can take the hits, I can stand in the pocket a little extra and let these guys come after me, probably gets in your brain because you say, I got just dudes everywhere, to the left of me and to the right. So I wouldn't say that he can't completely eliminate that from his game because he did it in college. I think playing for Alabama, having that superhero feel to him, having the ability to have an offensive line in front of you, studs on the outside, and be like, we're Superman, we're going to just dominate everyone. That's going to change once he gets to the NFL and things move a little bit faster.
And I think the challenge is adjusting that clock in your head without getting to the point where you have the yips, essentially. Where Sims and I have had this conversation about Eli Manning in the latter years of his career. When he had no protection, the clock accelerated for him. He was making decisions faster than he would have because he had to assume the walls were going to slam shut within 2 or 3 seconds instead of within 4 or 5 seconds. And there were times he'd throw the ball where he wasn't in any physical danger. And that's going to be the challenge for Tua, understanding I have to know where that sweet spot is to get rid of the football, and I have to time it right. And here's the problem. I think a lot of it's instinctive, Big Cat, and that's my concern. You develop your muscle memory, you develop your sense of how your body operates in relation to everyone else's, and now all of a sudden you're making a dramatic change to that, and you become someone who is more cautious with your body. It's important that he does that. I just don't think it's something that you can say, oh, that's what I need to do. Oh, okay, I'll go do it.
Yeah, I still love the pick for the Dolphins. I think Tua is special. I get the concerns. I also love that Nick Saban is doing a great job of hedging. Like you said, everyone was saying, you have to, he was telling everyone before the draft, if you don't pick Tua, it's the biggest mistake you ever made. Then the draft happens. He says, well, he's got to stay healthy. So that's a smart hedge on his part, so that he doesn't look foolish if Tua gets hurt right away. But I still love the pick for the Dolphins. And the Dolphins, the rebuild they have done in a very short period of time, and you could make the argument that they've been kind of rebuilding for a long time because they haven't had a guy behind center that they've trusted since Dan Marino. But what they've done in the last 2 years has been, I think very impressive. And I do think they're going to be one of those teams that's going to be frisky next year. And you saw them fight for Brian Flores, and they've kind of remade what they're going to do and how they want to do it pretty quickly here. I'm tipping my cap because it's hard to do in the NFL, and it feels like they've done a pretty good job with it.
And I think they also sold the owner on taking the risk with Tua because the owner wanted Joe Burrow. I know that for a fact. He wanted Joe Burrow. They tried to move up to get Joe Burrow. When the Bengals consistently say no, 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 well, the owner still wants a franchise quarterback. So if you can't get Burrow, who's next? And it's either Justin Herbert or it's Tua Tagovailoa. The team decided it's Tua. And, hey, if it doesn't work, it's just the latest failed Dolphins quarterback since Dan Marino. But I think Ross, as he turns 80 on May 10th, I believe, he wants to have a franchise quarterback to carry him through this next decade, which, I mean, let's be realistic. It may be the last decade he owns the team. So I think that was part of the motivation. They want a franchise quarterback. They couldn't get Burrow. They're rolling the dice with Tua, and they're hoping that this time around the football gods will give them craps when craps is good. I never know when craps is good. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It's been bad for the Dolphins for a long time. They're hoping that craps turns out good.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.